Hey everybody, my name is SPAZ and I'm a CD junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, I'm going to be discussing a band by the name of Amitri. On these episodes, I usually like to start off by telling you how I got into a band, and pretty much all through my life, ever since I discovered new wave, punk, power pop and stuff in roughly 78, 79, I would just randomly buy things. I would go through used bins and just go, hey, these guys look cool, these guys look cool. So in 1985, I'm flipping through the records, probably at Music Market in Costa Mesa, and I come across an album by a band called Amitri. 1985. They were quirky and great lyrics, awesome. They kind of reminded me of another band that I liked called Red Guitars, and Red Guitars were very quirky, odd, melodic, but a little left of mainstream. And that's kind of what the Amitri album was like. And while I compared them to Red Guitars, Amitri had this unique sound to them. And I was really enthralled by songs like Sticks and Stones Girl and Hammering Heart and Heard Through a Wall. This here is the Superfecta reissue that has 4 bonus tracks on it. But this first album, it was fantastic. Loved them to death. And then they disappeared. Didn't hear anything until like 1987, 88. And I was working at Abbey Road Distributors in Santa Ana. And one of our A&M reps, Barbara Bossman, if anybody knows who she is, she came in and she started talking about this band that they had signed called Amitri. Now, of course, everyone in the room thought she said Meat Tree. But I was like, oh my God, Amitri? I was like super excited. But it took quite a while for the record to come out. So in 1989, out comes Waking Hours. Same 2 main guys, Justin Currie on vocals, bass, and guitarist Ian Harvey. And the sound was completely different. They were still intelligent, fun to listen to, but it was closer to a mixture between what would become Britpop and Americana, sort of right in between. Fantastic songs. Justin Currie's voice had changed, his phrasing had changed, and they actually, while it was a shock to me, after being so familiar with that 1985 debut album, this album is just absolutely stunning. This is the 2 CD expanded edition, by the way. Songs like Kiss This Thing Goodbye, Stone Cold Sober is a favorite, Nothing Ever Happens, When I Want You. Lots of great songs on this album. And like I said, there's a bonus disc with B-sides and such. And this is totally worth your while. Imagine sort of a mixture between the sophistication of like a Van Morrison mixed with just exuberant, great pop songwriting of like latter period Squeeze or whatever. I'm not saying they sound like Van Morrison or Squeeze, but throw those things together and you're going to get something very warm, something very earthy, something very passionate, but also very melodic. So Waking Hours came out in 1989 and fantastic album. Took another 3 years and out comes Change Everything. Another, in fact, I almost want to say this is a better album. They really grew into their new sound and they added more elements to it. This, again, is the expanded edition. Great songs on this like Be My Downfall, When You Were Young, Always the Last to Know is just one of their best. And, again, tons of bonus tracks. So Amitri, I don't want to compare them to anyone because they really do have a unique sound. And Justin Currie, one of the best lyricists. I've said repeatedly, he's right up there with Elvis Costello and Chris Difford from Squeeze. And just stunning lyricist, great hooks. Amitri, Change Everything, another great album. 3 years pass and out comes Twisted, another great Amitri album. Filled with more great tracks. Believe it or not, they actually had a U.S. hit with a song called Roll to Me, which is on this album. But it's also got Stay With Me and Tell Her This, and Driving With the Brakes On is stunning, absolutely stunning. This has loads of bonus tracks, as you can see there. This is 1995, Amitri, Twisted. Fantastic album. Justin Currie, lyrics. This time it only took 2 years before Some Other Suckers Parade, 1997. Some of their greatest tracks. Again, this is just the regular edition. I don't think that they've done an expanded edition of this. But it's got Not Where It's At. Also, it's got Make It Always Be Too Late, What I Think She Sees. Fantastic album. Problem is, Del Amitri, as great as they are, and we know this happens to a lot of bands, as great as they are, they just couldn't hold the attention of the American public because music was constantly changing and evolving like it always does. And for some reason, they couldn't really get their claws in, and sort of their popularity slipped a little bit. But thankfully, the label put out a best of called Hatful of Rain. They also put out a companion CD with B-sides on it, but I don't own that because I think most of the B-sides at least are on those expanded editions that I have. But this is a great collection. If you haven't heard much by Del Amitri, you're definitely going to want to check this out. I know that it actually has a couple non-album singles, like Spit in the Rain was a great non-album track. This came out in 1998. So you could get caught up on Del Amitri. They sort of disappeared for a while, and they didn't return until 2002 with this album called Can You Do Me Good? And this was supposedly a make or break album. You know, the label wanted them to record an album that was commercial enough to continue to build their audience. And the band came up with a bunch of great songs, more great Justin Currie lyrics, more great guitar work from Ian Harvey. But they also added programmed drums and loops, and some of the songs were a little dancier, and I don't mean like techno or whatever, but they were using modern technology to propel the songs, to move them forward, and hopefully to get them some radio airplay. Unfortunately, it didn't work, and this is pretty much the last Del Amitri album. Came out in 2002. But it's got a lot of great songs, like Just Before You Leave, and Cash and Prizes, and Out Falls the Past. A lot of great songs on this. A lot of people in America haven't heard this because it never got released in America. But definitely check it out if you are a Del Amitri or Justin Currie fan. Can You Do Me Good from 2002. Justin Currie went solo, but his first solo project was The Uncle Devil Show, which is actually him and two members of Kevin McDermott Orchestra, including Kevin McDermott and his brother. And they, go under pseudonyms. Great collection of songs, because Kevin McDermott is a great songwriter as well. Justin Currie, his voice is unmistakable. His songwriting style is unmistakable. And this is new songs by these guys. The Uncle Devil Show, which is Justin Currie is one of the three members. He's sort of incognito, so people don't go, "Oi, that's the guy from Del Amitri." But it was actually the guy from Del Amitri. And that came out in 2004. Justin Currie's first solo album came out in 2007. And if you love Del Amitri, you're going to love Justin Currie's solo albums. Fantastic. I've already talked about what a great songwriter he is and what a great lyricist he is. Anyway, this album here is called What Is Love For? And some of the stellar tracks on this include If I Ever Loved You, No Surrender. Great album, 2007. Took another 3 years, and Justin Currie put out another album called The Great War. And You'll Always Walk Alone is just absolutely stellar. Can't Let Go of Her Now is great, and As Long As You Don't Come Back is great. Everyone I Love, another killer Justin Currie album. The Great War came out in 2010. 2013, Justin Currie, Lower Reaches. Dare I say it's another great Justin Currie album. It's not that far off from the sound of Del Amitri, but Del Amitri was really Ian and Justin and a few other guys that had been with the band throughout most of their career. But so Justin's records sound a little bit different, maybe a little lower key, a little slower, a little darker maybe lyrically, but still just a fantastic, great songwriter. So Lower Reaches, this has got Every Song's the Same, and Bend to My Will, Little Stars, lots of great material on that. This is the one that came out as an import. I didn't get the official version when it came out in America. I got the advanced version because it has a few extra songs on it. So the American edition, I think, has 2 more songs than the import. And then finally, 2017, This Is My Kingdom Now, another Justin Currie album, another fantastic album. He just can't stop making great records. And there's so much passion in what he does, and he's just an intelligent songwriter, great vocalist, still to this very day, or at least as of 2017. That was 3 years ago. I don't think things have changed all that much. Amitri has actually gotten back together and done some tours, but as of yet, they have not released any new studio recordings. And hopefully, it's been 3 years since this, so hopefully Justin has something in the works. But anyway, that's it for my Amitri and Justin Currie video. I hope that you agree with my thoughts on these albums. If you don't, or if you want to say more things about Amitri or Justin Currie, go ahead and leave comments. I appreciate you hanging out and letting me chat about music. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, because the more likes, comments, and shares and subscribes I get, the more friends I can make, and because I'm lonely. Anyway, my name is SPAZ, and I'm a CD junkie.